iKids? Want to make a craft with me? We can make a scroll. Do you know what a scroll is? Well, before books as we know them now were commonly used, people wrote on a scroll. Here's what you will need to make one. 2 paper towel tubes, paper, and tape. First, you take your paper towel tubes and tape them to either end of your paper, like this. Next, you roll each tube into the center of your paper, and it's done. You have a beautiful scroll. Once you make your scroll, you can write a Bible verse in it or draw a picture of what you think Jesus looks like. I wrote our new Bible verse in mine. It's Revelation 11:15. I'll read it for you. Revelation 11:15. And the 7th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, "The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." Revelation 11:15. This verse tells us that Jesus will return and reign over the world. Jesus will reign over the new heaven and new earth forever and ever. We can look forward to Jesus' return with hope and certainty. I'll read this verse again. This time, read it with me. Revelation 11:15. And the 7th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, "The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." Revelation 11:15. Will you write our new memory verse on your scroll to help you remember it? Sometimes writing things down helps us to remember things. In our story today, Jesus appeared to John and gives him a message that he told him to write down. Our story is found in Revelation chapter 1. Like many believers, the Apostle John faced suffering and persecution for telling people about Jesus. The Roman emperor punished John by sending him to an island called Patmos. While John was on the island, he had a vision. John heard a loud voice, like a trumpet. The voice said, "Write on a scroll what you see, then send the message to the 7 churches in Asia: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea." John turned around to see whose voice he heard. He saw 7 golden lampstands, and he saw Jesus, the Son of Man. Jesus was wearing a long robe with a golden sash wrapped around his chest. His head and hair were as white as snow, and his eyes were like fiery flames. Jesus' feet were like strong, polished bronze, and his voice sounded like a roaring waterfall. Jesus had 7 stars in his right hand, and a sharp, double-edged sword came from his mouth. Jesus' face was shining like the sun. When John saw Jesus, he fell at Jesus' feet. Jesus put his hand on John and commanded him, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last, the living one. I was dead, but now I am alive forever and ever." Jesus explained that the 7 lampstands were the 7 churches. He told John to write about everything he had seen. Jesus showed himself to John and explains that he is the first and the last. He was talking about how he is infinite. He has no beginning or ending. He is an eternal God. He reaches all the way back to before the beginning and all the way forward and forever. Jesus showed John 7 lampstands to represent 7 churches. What do lampstands do? They shed light in darkness. That's exactly the job of the church as well. The church is to take the light of the gospel into the dark world. After John fell at Jesus' feet, Jesus told him not to be afraid. It may have been scary to see Jesus full of fire and a sword coming from his mouth, but Jesus loved John. Jesus appeared to tell John about the hope we have and a future with Jesus forever. While Jesus was on earth, he defeated sin and death by dying on the cross and coming back to life. Now, Jesus is lifted up in glory and honor forever and ever.